Hello and welcome to this brief overview of our secondary teacher training courses at Nottingham Trent University. The routes into secondary teaching include PGCE, School Direct and Apprenticeship Level 6. Nottingham Trent University has a history of involvement in teacher training, and we are celebrating 60 years of excellence. We have over 1,800 students enrolled on a variety of courses, most of which are based at Clifton campus, with 90 highly qualified and experienced lecturers, including a large number of former teachers. We are also recognised as one of the leading providers of teacher training in the UK. The routes into secondary teacher training fall into two groups, those which are school-led and those which are university-led. The school-led routes include School Direct Salaried, Unsalaried and Apprenticeship. The university-led route is known as the PGCE Core. Regardless of the route, they all include significant time on placements, meeting the government's expectation of at least 120 days in a variety of school settings. All the routes provide qualified teacher status. All routes include an academic award of either the postgraduate certificate in education or the professional graduate certificate in education, and the differences between the different routes lie in the time spent at school, with school-led routes starting earlier in the year, usually August or September, and in the case of apprenticeships lasting 4 terms rather than 3 terms. Specifically for our apprenticeship routes into teacher training, these are known as Level 6, are co-designed and co-delivered with our partners from our initial teacher education partnership. We provide a 1-year course leading to the award of PGCE, which can include aspects of Level 7 or Masters and qualified teacher status. Our apprenticeships are fully compliant with all the regulations that apply to initial teacher training, including the requirement that trainees experience at least 2 placements. Our partner schools are advertised on UCAS, and whilst they will interview apprenticeship applicants, the university is also involved, leading to a dual process. Whilst training with Nottingham Trent University, our school partners employ the salaried apprentices. Our apprenticeships are delivered in partnership, with the Nottingham Institute of Education providing university-based training, with our tutors who support, visit and observe, and our school partners that provide apprentices with a mentor, suitable learning opportunities and a chance to develop their practice. Whilst a proportion of the training is provided by the Institute of Education, our school partners also provide some of the training. Having successfully completed the course, an apprentice will gain qualified teacher status and may start as a newly qualified teacher in a maintained school. There would then be a period of induction, typically lasting 3 terms, though this does not necessarily apply to those working in academies and independent schools. In order to apply for the apprenticeship route, applicants must already be employed by the school in some capacity and have an agreement with their employer to take part in the Level 6 programme. All applicants for secondary teacher training train with a specialist subject in mind. We offer our university-led route in a smaller number of subjects, whilst the school-led route has a wider range of subjects on offer for training. At Nottingham Trent University, we pride ourselves on our partnership with extensive links to over 300 secondary schools and colleges across the East Midlands. Our students gain wide experience of teaching in many different environments, from city centre to suburban and semi-rural settings. Many of our trainees go on to work in their placement schools after graduation and often become mentors later in their careers. Newly qualified teachers in England and Wales can expect to start on at least £24,000 or £30,000 if you work in inner London. Teaching as a career has great opportunities to gain seniority in a range of roles, for example to become responsible for a department, head of year, focus on special educational needs or pastoral care. 95% of NTU postgraduates are employed or engaged in further study within 6 months of leaving. NTU is one of the top universities in England and Wales for its employment rate. Ofsted have commented favourably on Nottingham Trent University with our good subject knowledge, the range of experiences in the classroom, the settings that give our trainees a wider understanding of children's learning. This leads to our trainees being very attractive to schools, and the proportion of our teacher trainees who find employment after graduation remains above the national average. With secondary pupil numbers expected to rise by 10% over the next few years, the government are keen to recruit and train sufficient trainees and have used the bursary payment system to encourage more graduates to take up initial teacher training. A range of bursaries from £9,000 to £26,000 tax-free are available to a range of subjects. In particular cases, £2,000 additional bursary is available through scholarships with professional bodies such as the Institute of Physics, and a number of subjects benefit from an early career payment of £6,000 divided into payments over a number of years. These bursaries are paid in regular instalments over the duration of the course. The university-led PGCE core and school-led, school direct or apprenticeship training differ in the number of days expected in school. Our provisional calendar, subject to changes due to COVID-19, is as follows. Our PGCE core commence their training in school with serial visits, typically 3 days a week, where trainees will observe and support classroom teachers. After the half term, which in Nottingham and Nottinghamshire is 2 weeks, trainees increase the number of days in school and start to build up their capacity to teach. By Christmas, trainees are teaching 1 lesson a day and supporting a 2nd lesson a day. For our school-led trainees, they commence whenever their training school begins, which can be as early as August the 24th, and spend a greater proportion of their working week, typically 4 days a week, in their school. After Christmas, the PGCE core commence training in a 2nd school, and as with their first experience, begin with 3 days a week of observations and supporting classroom teachers. After half term, they build up to 5 days a week where their teaching load increases too. After Easter, they teach 2 lessons a day and support a 3rd lesson a day. For our school-led trainees, a 2nd school experience starts just before Christmas and for the half term immediately after Christmas. Once this school experience is over in the February half term, our school-led trainees return to their main school. By the end of the course, school-led trainees are teaching 3, maybe 4 lessons a day. Both routes into teacher training involve half term and holidays, and our academic assignments are carefully structured around these dates to allow trainees some downtime before handing in their assignments. Training is also provided in university, with our PGCE core trainees spending the equivalent of 2 weeks additional time at university. The university's involvement in both routes to teacher training finishes mid-June. Once the training is over, many PGCE core trainees take up teaching opportunities in employing schools, whilst our school-led trainees are expected to remain in their placement schools until the end of the year. The training year involves a portfolio of evidence and a number of academic assignments. The academic assignments can be submitted at level 6, or in the case of the independent study, a piece of action research, this can be submitted to gain master's level credits. Together, these academic assignments and a portfolio are used to recommend trainees for their qualified teacher status and to award the PGCE. The 2020 entry requirements are a good UK honours degree or equivalent at a minimum of a 2-2, with 50% of study in the subject you wish to specialise. Occasionally, we may consider applications from those holding a degree that does not directly relate to the subject, where there may be sufficient modules and very good A-levels. Applicants are expected to hold GCSE or O-level mathematics and English at a minimum grade of C or under the new GCSE scales of a 4 or higher. If you wish to apply for the school direct salaried route, you should have at least 3 years of work experience. All applicants must pass the disclosure and barring service checks. You must have sufficient funds to cover NTU fees, which is typically by a student loan company application. and applicants will need to undertake an interview or interviews as part of the selection process. School experience is not an entry requirement, but we find it will enhance your application, interview and preparedness to train to teach. For a number of applicants, their subject knowledge may require additional support. Subject knowledge enhancement courses are designed to help support trainees with insufficient subject content to secure places onto postgraduate teaching courses. SKE courses have been funded by the government and have bursaries attached. The DfE are currently paying to support a variety of subjects including maths, computing, D&T, English, MFL, geography, physics and chemistry. Recent additions to the SKE provision include English and RE. NTU offers a selection of SKE courses and we work closely with other providers. We would recommend, if you require subject knowledge enhancement, that you search for the SKE directory ahead of your application so you are informed by the availability of SKE courses. At Nottingham Trent University, we pride ourselves on our high level of support, our exceptional training facilities, our partnerships with local schools, our research which informs government policy and our record on sustainability. NTU has received the title of University of the Year over the last 3 years and we would welcome your application. Finally, I wish you well and hope to hear from you soon.